Hey everyone, Amitofo, Venerable Master, Dharma friends. Welcome to our Sutra lecture this afternoon. My name is Heng Sure. I'm here in the Gold Coast of Queensland. Today is February 19th. We're already right at the end of Aquarius. How about that? Moving into Pisces soon. And welcome, glad you're here. It is Sunday, February 18th in California and the West Coast. Glad that you're here. All right, in just a moment, I'm going to ring the handbell 3 times and invite you all to do 3 half bows with me, and we'll get our lecture underway. 各位上知识大家阿弥陀佛，欢迎参加我们今天华严经十回向品的讲座。今天我叫恒师，我现在在就是星期一中午这个是2月19号，在加州是星期天晚上18号那么希望我们都OK, there we go. 好。如果各位今天来听经，那我们就一起研究大放广佛华严经。等一下我就敲引磬3下，请各位跟我一起，在自己的座位上都可以。我们就行3温熏礼，然后就准备请法。Here we go. 2温熏，3温熏Okay, so today Huali is going to request Dharma. So, Yan Huali, 你愿意请法please begin.
恭请大德圣听，为此法会及一切众生，请转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死，离苦得乐，殊真无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and attain bliss and earn birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfect enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye olahuri samyao samputoshe.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahati samyao samputoshe.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿皆如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. 师父上人各位师兄阿弥陀佛 Welcome again. Let's invoke spiritual presence, invite the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and the Dharma protectors to draw near. 我们的恭请 华严海会佛菩萨天龙八部护法善神来参加我们的讲经法会。Alrighty. Now we still have some more protocol here. We would like to acknowledge the Pomo people who practiced spiritual connections to the earth and to all creation here on their ancestral land for tens of thousands of years. Today we acknowledge them as traditional custodians and original storytellers of these lands. We offer our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 婆摩人在他们祖先的土地上修炼他们与土地和万物的精神联系有数万年。今天我们承认他们是这些土地的传统监护人和原始讲故事的人，并且向有过去现在和新兴的长老们致敬。以及主权从未被割让，所有第一民族人民们表示敬意。Okay. The bell sound wide resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传3000界内佛法让万亿国中，共训其法界和平，利益报他诺后德。Okay, there we go. We are about to have a thunderstorm here in the Gold Coast, coming right overhead. So if you all hear loud noises, it's definitely thunder here. Yeah. 就说现在快要下大雨。如果你们听到这个打雷这个声音，是因为我们这边有thunderstorm, huh? Okay, so let's take a look and see who's here. There's 85 of us, 85 of us listening in. I'm here in the Gold Coast. Our co-host, Heng Sure, is in Taipei. And our fellow co-host, Hua Li, who is our Dharma requester today, is, I believe she is at the moment back in Ukiah, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and we have friends listening from Oroville, Washington. How about that? Far in the north of Washington State. We have Barbara's here from Ukiah. Binxin is in Shanghai. Bob is in, can't quite, is it Redwood Valley? No. Yeah, up there, just north. Celeste is in Hong Kong. Let's see here. Lin Changxing is in Newbury Park. Cliff is in the Gold Coast listening. Connie is in Silicon Valley. Daisy's in Calgary. Elaine's in Texas. Let's see. The Song family's in Tianjin. We have Gold Coast Dharma Realm. I wonder who that is. We have Gohong in Alameda. We have Jan in Columbia City, Oregon. Oh my goodness, alongside the river there. Jane is in Berkeley. Jeffrey and family's in Round Rock, Texas. Jenny's in Seattle. Jane's in Seattle. Katie's in Union City. Linda is in San Francisco. Ling Feng is up in Seattle. Liz is in New York City. Okay, Maggie Billy are in San Jose listening in. Another Maggie is in Vancouver. Hello, Maggie. Maya is in the Bay Area. Let's see here. Lu Shisheng is in Zhongguo Liaoning. Okay. Chen Mingyong is in Guangzhou. Let's see here. Guo Zhan is in Alameda. Olivia is in San Francisco. Ron is in San Jose. Sheila is in Ukiah, I believe. Sylvia is in Seattle. Tran is in San Jose. Tam is in San Leandro. Viet is in California. Okay. Hey there, Viet. Willie is in Virginia. Yang Liu is in Ukiah. Yihuan is listening in on her phone somewhere in City of 10,000 Buddhas. Let's see. And then we switch. Now we switch over. 我们现在改到我们这边的听众就说邱女士是吗？在台北哈。然后呢，云达是内蒙古Nippon is in Harbin yes 对了，还有北京、杭州辽宁、安徽、辽宁、深圳、包头、北京、辽宁、黑龙江，还有云林，哎，那就台湾。Let's see, 云林西螺 ，OK. Let's see here, 安徽宿州、新北市，哇，台湾人今天来听法。山西宝鸡、黑龙江、吉林，Let's see here. OK, and 还有淮南市、黑龙江、北京，河北唐山、深圳、南京、北京、南京、台北。OK, there we go. 哈尔滨、上海、加拿大、吉隆坡、洛杉矶都不是中国。朝阳市、上海 and 海宁。Good. Okay, that's fun. Glad you're all here. 欢迎各位。Here is my Dharma protector having lunch as he listens to the Dharma. Here we are. We are, not that one. Put you back. Pick up this one. There we go. Now, last week, we were in the part of the 10 Transferences, 7th Transference, where the Bodhisattva out of happiness is transferring merit for 110 reasons. And they're all 为令众生什么什么什么故，在那个什么什么什么，那就是他回向的原因，他希望达到的目的了。有的比较简单，有的很复杂。这个我们上次就遇到一个很有意思，就是60个声音，60个声音。然后接下来有3个，就是3、4个、5个，有5个是对于讲话说法，就是说用口开口讲出佛法，还有菩萨的特异功能，就这样这个事情。 那个很，就集中在这个那个能力啊，很有意思。So last week we left off where the Bodhisattva is in the seventh of 10 transferences, and because he is happy to dedicate merit, doing this kind of giving makes him happy, and he dedicates merit. There's 110 reasons that explain why he transfers. The Chinese, if you take a look here on the screen, it's 为令一切众生, and then with a filler, and it ends up with 故, because. In order to enable living beings to, that's the phrase in English. And the rest of that is filler. And as we left last week, we ran into the first of 5 reasons that all have to do with speaking Dharma. It's very interesting. Clearly, this is the tool that the Bodhisattva uses to teach. So this comes in for a lot of energy. The special abilities that Bodhisattvas employ in order to get us to understand, because they want us to get it. They want us to understand how cultivation can move us beyond our bad habits, can break apart the ignorance that covers us like a coat of paint on the wall, in order to get us to breathe outside of our habit energies that repeat life after life. Okay, so that's where we are. Let's take a look at that last one and we'll pay attention. We'll start right here. Are you ready? Here we go. 为令一切众生得60种因生，发言成谛，皆可信受，100千种法而一庄严。如来无碍功德妙因，悉圆满故。In order to enable living beings to attain the 60 kinds of voices that utter only sincere and truthful words well received by all, each and every voice of which is adorned with hundreds of thousands of teachings, and thereby perfect the Tathagata's wondrous voice of unobstructed merit. All right, what in the world could that be? Well, I mentioned last week that the first place you look is Master Chengguan's commentary. He's the expert. What does he do when he gets something truly unusual like this? Much of the content of the 10 Transferences chapter repeats, because there's variations for sure, but the kind of things it refers to are they're in the culture of India at the time, and we extrapolate into the present from that time 2,500 years ago. But every now and then we get something really unusual. This is one of those. So what does Master Chengguan say about it? And he says, this 60 kinds of voices pops up in 3 other sutras and commentaries, and he mentions them. And then he goes on to talk about Sanskrit. It's very interesting. Let me translate that, and then we'll go into it. 十回商品里边，这个是佛的那个时候，2500年前，都有这个文化里边所看到、所听到的东西，都很多都重复，这个有来有回哈，我们见过看过。有的时候很特别的，没见过没看过，好像希望众生拿到60个声音，那个时候发生的时候，我们都怎么做呢？就问清凉果师的华严素钞，他有的时候 他也要讲解比较特殊的东西了，他就留下他的注解。那他就是这样子。我去查这个华严素差，那么清凉果是那个书里边第一个注解，他就说，他说对了，这60个声音他来过，有两部经一个论都讲过这个情形。然后那个超他就又下个注解，他说其实这个呢是跟梵文有关系的然后讲得很详细。梵文就是印度话，第一次华严经被写下就是用梵文来写下，就是那个时候。现在还有我们法界大学都有人学习梵文。Now, yes, indeed, Sanskrit is an ancient Indian language. It sure is. When the Avatamsaka Sutra was first written down, after it was transmitted, it was first written down in Sanskrit. However, Sanskrit is still very much alive. Scholars learn it. You can actually learn to speak it, to chant it. We have faculty who got their doctorates in Sanskrit, some of whom are listening to our lecture today. Others are in India studying Sanskrit. We have students who are taking it as an elective. We have a regular member of our group who is currently enrolled in a Sanskrit class at University of Washington, Seattle. So the study of Sanskrit is still with us. And how do you get to 60? And furthermore, now it's not only 60, but every one of those 60 has hundreds of thousands of teachings that follow each voice. And by uttering those sounds, the Tathagata's wondrous voice of unobstructed merit comes forth. 还有就说那个梵文，我们法界佛教大学有梵文课，有教授拿到他们的博士位研究梵文，因为梵文都是印度教的本来的语文，也是佛教佛经的本来的语文。我们还有教授从法界大学回去印度专门研究梵文。我们也有这个现在在线，在我们的观众今天也有梵文的老师，还有学生，他们在华盛顿大学在读这个梵文。You can hear the thunder rolling, huh? I have an app on my phone that tells me how close the lightning strikes are. The last one was 10 miles, so it's coming closer. OK, 你们都听到那个打雷哈？那个手机我有 app 告诉我那个闪电是多近，最近现在10个英里，10个公里它越来越近。OK, take a look. Going to go to my own text here. Put that away, not that. We want this one, 10 Transferences. Right there. Okay. It's that there are 8, Master Chengguan in his Sutra commentary says there are 8 cases in Sanskrit, 8 ways to use nouns. So Sanskrit is a very precise language, and they're called vibhakti, the cases for nouns. They're referred to by numbers, 1 through 8. Don't need 9 there, they're only 8. And you decline nouns, not decline like the decline of a dynasty. It just means you change the ending of the word. Furthermore, how you're going to change it depends on what case. Is it past, present, future? Is it singular, plural, or dual? Is it masculine or feminine or neuter? And its natural endings. So how interesting. So these are the 8 cases. There's nominative case. We use Latin names. That's the subject noun. Accusative case. That's the object noun. Instrumental case. That's the method, how you did it. Dative case. What was the purpose of it? There's the ablative case. Where did it come from? The genitive case. What anything belongs to a noun or the noun belongs to. Locative case. Where it's located. And the vocative case. How you evoke it. So it's like, what? Really? Yes. Sanskrit is very precise, and they work on their nouns. And you add an ending to each noun, and with that ending, you know which one of those 8, you have specific information about that noun, that thing, person, place, or thing. So that's what is Master Cheng Guan included. And if you really, to look at it, here is a wise Chinese Buddhist master who, in his commentary to the Avatamsaka Sutra, is teaching us about Indian language, about Indian grammar. Pretty cool. This Master Cheng Guan really, really was wise. He had incredible knowledge. So there we are. Now, how do I translate this? Aiyo. Yeah. So 那个清凉国师啊，澄观法师，他解释这个佛的60个声音，他就在他下注解，那个注解里边就说，哦，对了，梵文是有8个不同的，你要认清楚一个名词。名词就是 person 人 place 处 thing 东西物 right 要梵文印度话给你一个方法，每一个名词后边你就加一个变化，那你加一点那个你就知道这个名词是名词是很清楚，你可以知道它很多东西了。所以那个注解里边很长，那个闪电现在5个公里。The lightning is coming within 5 miles. I have my app is telling me lightning is approaching. How exciting! So 就是说，现在那个就是闪电，现在有5个公里之远。OK， 所以这个是。那个我觉得很有意思，我们的唐朝那个时候，唐朝的大德，他的注解了，都给我们教诲印度文字这个知识，不容易的，不容易。Okay, that's what's going on here, and how does it work? Why 60? Complicated, right? So, but you know that the Bodhisattva says. I would like to enable all living beings to get all those voices so that they can speak only sincere and truthful words that everybody hears and goes, oh, really good, thank you. And every one of those voices that he speaks with has hundreds of thousands of teachings in them. Does this sound far out? Yeah, this is far out. This is quite amazing. But by doing this, you make the Tathagata's wondrous voice of unobstructed merit perfect. 你就是菩萨发愿说，我愿意令一切众生受我的回向的功德，他们都可以说出60种声音。那个60个声音所讲的话非常诚恳，就是真真实实的。皆可信受，无论谁听到的就说，哎，这个是的确是这样子。然后呢，每一个声音，无论哪一个名词，就各个有100千种法而已庄严。这样子呢，悉圆满如来无碍功德妙音，多么好。Now that's a transference wish, right? There's a heavy duty transference wish for you. How about it? How about if every sound you made, every word you spoke, somebody heard it and went, yes, sir, absolutely. I totally agree and I will follow it. You're right on. Isn't it funny how our language dates us? I just said far out and right on. You know that I grew up in the 60s. 为令一切众生成就实力庄严，无爱平等心故。In order to enable living beings to perfect the 10 powers and adorn their unimpeded minds, which regard everything equally. Okay. He transfers merit so that living beings can make those 10 bodhisattvas' powers perfect and have their minds unimpeded. How impeded is my mind? I look at, in meditation every day, I watch my mind jump from thought to thought. And sometimes I have too many emails, and so I tend to let a lot of them go and just hope that the important ones will be sorted out to come to my attention, and all the advertisements and the newsletters will go into another folder. As a result, I tend to look at a request for attention and then say, I'll get to that later. And then it slips into the pile of unanswered emails. And when I meditate, there's this miraculous thing going on whereby the important ones prompt me. Is it false thinking? It is false thinking. It is not samadhi. But it's very funny how the important things kind of drift slowly up and catch a ray of light. And if I'm paying attention, when the meditation is over, I know what I have to get to first. Now, somebody says, yeah, well, you haven't answered my email for the last 3 weeks. Are you false thinking about something else, perhaps? Guilty. Yeah, so my goodness, the mind is a marvelous thing. 就说菩萨为令一切众生成就实力庄严无爱平等心，那你的心是不是平等？你的心是有爱还是无爱？我的心是有爱，怎么知道呢？打坐的时候。在那儿静坐，又那个念头起来了，某某人啊，有个要求给你送 email， 你根本没有答复他们，已经2个礼拜了，叮叮叮叮叮这是不是妄想？是妄想，不过这个妄想是有用的妄想，可是这个常常会有，email 太多了，真的。OK， 为令一切众生得一切佛无尽法明，一切辩才普圆满故。In order to enable living beings to attain the Buddha's inexhaustible insight into the Dharma and perfect all eloquence. OK， 又来一个，是为的什么？是为的讲话。Sarasvati. There we go. Where are we? Here we are. Okay. Let's see. Here she is. Right. All right. Who is this? Can you all see? This is Sarasvati, 辩才天女。这个是谁呢？这个是辩才天女 Sarasvati. I'm gonna, now that I showed her to you, I'm gonna put this away for a moment. 那个我们讲到辩才师父也常常告诉我们这个辩才无碍辩才怎么一回事。 boom. 然后here we go. Right, there it is. Yes. 上人就说这个辩才天女我们要讲法之前，如果像辩才天女就赞叹，就称赞，就说南无辩才天女菩萨摩诃萨，这样子，到时候要讲法的时候，你可以请辩才天女来给你加持。她是谁呢？她是那种在印度文化的一个菩萨，她在印度教也有这个很多人非常赞叹，佛教也有人特别崇拜她，她是crosses over， 两个宗教都会认识，都会注意，都会供养这个辩才天女。大家看看她的像 here. So Sarasvati, known in Chinese as the goddess of eloquence, is one of those very interesting characters who crosses over. She's both in Hinduism as a divinity, and she's obviously in Buddhism. Now, notice what she's doing. She's playing a veena, V-E-N-A, V-I-N-A, V-E-E-N-A. It's a string instrument. I think that's called a Sarasvati veena. It's a special one dedicated to her. She has 4 arms. One arm has recitation beads. One is holding a sutra. 2 hands are busy playing the instrument. And she also has a bird with her. Here in this image is a peacock. Usually it's a goose, a hamsa. And she is, Sarasvati is the divinity, the being who is in charge of culture, knowledge, learning, music, language, arts, all of the finer things of life. And we who might be lecturing on sutras or taking an examination or getting your instrument tuned up for a concert or for a lesson, it's a perfect opportunity to ask Sarasvati for a blessing. Shifu said, Dharma speakers, one thing that you can do before you lecture, if you would like extra help, is to ask Sarasvati, Biensai Tiannu, to jiachi, to give you particular aid. And you can say, Namo Biensai Tiannu Pusa. Namo Biensai Tiannu Pusa. Namo Biensai Tiannu Pusa. 也可以啊. So that's one way. And she will, if you're sincere, give you a little bit of light. So homage to Sarasvati Devi Namaha. Homage to Sarasvati Devi Namaha. Homage to Sarasvati Devi Namaha. So this is, I thought it was fascinating that here in eloquence, we had specific instructions from our teacher to, if we choose to pay attention to her. In Japan, she is known as Benzai Ten. 日本呢就叫辩才天, Benzai Ten. Here she's only got her pipa, her biwa. Here's an ancient vision of her from the Tibetan side. Zhangchuan, 也有她. Special, let's see here. This is a modern one. I like this one a lot. 这是现在的辩才天女。她有念珠，她有佛经，她有乐器的 vina， 也有莲花。这个是 一个天鹅，一个 Hansa， 或者是白鹤，或者是鸽子，那个鸭子是 goose 啊。So this is 这个是它也是印度教的，它也是佛教的，同样的。Here's another vision of Sarasvati. See, here's the goose, here's the Veena, here's the flower, here's the scroll, and her nianzhu will be here somewhere. So this is occasionally you will see, here's rather austere looking version. You can see the Fa Qi, recitation beads, sutra, Veena, and goose. 它有念珠，有它的这个佛经，还有这个乐器，还有这个天鹅。Sarasvati, she's a very interesting character, and we have a mantra at the end of the 10 small mantras. Namo Photo, Namo Dhammo, Namo Songche, Namo Shirli, Moho, Tibiye. At the end of our 10 small mantras, which we can also recite in honor of Sarasvati Devi. 我们十小咒里边第10个 Namo Photo, Namo Dhammo, Namo Songche 也是。Okay, that's Sarasvati. So here is the Bodhisattva. Always comes up first. Here we go. It says, in order to enable living beings to attain the Buddha's inexhaustible insight into the Dharma and to perfect all eloquence. 为令一切众生得一切佛无尽法明，一切辩才普圆满故。那么，如果我们请这个天女菩萨来加倍，我们都可以得一点光明啊。那个时候所讲的道理，大家都欢喜听。为令一切众生得无上无畏人中之雄狮子吼故 in order to enable living beings to attain the lion's roar of a supreme, fearless hero among people. Okay, so the lion's roar, 狮子吼无畏说，百兽问之皆脑裂，向上奔波是权威，天地天意天龙激听伤心悦。There it is, the lion's roar, fearsome, awesome sound. The living beings hear it and cower on the ground. The nasties and the baddies lose their special style. The heavies and the baddies lose their special style. The gods and dragons hear it in stillness and they smile. Right? The lion's roars, the Buddha's sound, and gods and dragons are delighted with it. But the troublemakers hear it, and as Shifu would say, they become 老实. They get really honest. Okay. Here we go. 为令一切众生得一切智，转不退转，无尽法轮故 in order to enable living beings to attain omniscient wisdom and turn the inexhaustible Dharma wheel of irreversibility. Now, this particular topic came up in our Avatamsaka translation committee that meets every week. It was the name of a Buddha or the name of a land, I don't remember, but it had to do with the Dharma wheel and turning it, and also getting to this place of irreversibility. Those are mentioned together often. So this is so central to Buddhism, this idea of a wheel, that if you go to Wikipedia and you look up, just type in Buddhism, Wikipedia has a thing where religions have their symbols on the side, in one of the side columns. And of course, the symbol for Buddhism is the 8-spoked Dharma wheel. Of course, our Mahayana symbol is a lotus flower, but for Buddhism in general, this is the wheel, it's that central. And wheels turn. They turn smoothly to the right, and they are round and perfect. They don't stop as long as you move them, they move smoothly. They also can roll over the top of inferior teachings if you use them as a metaphor. So this is the Dharma wheel, and it comes up regularly in Buddhist text, as in the Avatamsaka. 这个法轮哈，它呢是佛教的一个怎么说一个表号是吗 ？symbol， 一个形状，就是所有宗教之间，基督教、天主教的这个形象是什么呢？就是十字架，对不对？犹太教是一个无交的一个星星，佛教呢一个轮，这个轮里边有8个油是不是？那个8个绸是吗？忘了，那个是佛教的一个这个很特别的。那么汉传佛教呢是一个莲花，对了，不过呢整个佛教跟其他的宗教比较起来了，就是个法轮。这个轮子它会转，不退，然后这个它会打象征。Okay, thank you. 象征。I wonder why I can't remember that. I've learned that before. 象征。Okay. 那个 Celeste 那个征是第几声？是象征还是征？征不知道象征。Let's see here. Somebody can type that in. First one 是征象征。Okay, thank you. Okay, 象征。好的，那么 let's see. We can prove it. I'll prove it. Here's a website. Let's go out. Buddhism. Okay, Buddhism. Oh, look at that. Boro Shinjing came up first. Buddhism. Okay, we'll go to National Geographic, Wikipedia. Ready? Click here. Look at the right-hand side. There it is. There's our Dharma Chakra. The Dharma Chakra, indeed. It turns. Okay. 就是我们的法轮。这个文章呢是说佛教这个宗教法轮是它的象征。Okay, there it is. Okay, now the wheel of irreversibility, that's another story, and we've gone into that a lot about the bodhisattva between the 7th and 8th ground, and how he or she at that point has a transformation in their actual psycho-spiritual makeup. There's a change in their consciousness. And from that point on, their perception of reality is different. So it's it's not an idea at that point. It's an actual change in their makeup of body and mind. So, 那个不退转阿毗跋之Avatamsaka， 那个是我们讲过了，就说在菩萨实地，菩萨在登这个实地的梯子，一直到佛国，他到了第7、第8地之间，就是到了第8地，他有一个时候，他就心里边有个变化。他以前的这个psycho-spiritual 就是包括身体还有精神，身体上、精神上、心灵上都有变化。他 以前所谓的实际性跟经过那个关之后不一样，就得到不退转。那个我们上次参加那个翻译华严经的这个会议啊，我们都详细讲。We explained this aspect of the 10 stages last week as we were looking at this. It's a profound change, and what's so fascinating is the bodhisattvas take part, the Buddhas, in fact, come to the cultivator and tell him or her not to retreat. They use all kinds of methods to encourage the bodhisattva to keep going, because the tendency is to want to quit at that point and rest, because it seems like there's no real point to continue. And it's a real challenge to the mentality of the cultivator at that point. To compare, am I at that point? If you ask yourself, Master Empty Cloud, Master Xu Yun, was said to be an 8-stage bodhisattva. So we can compare ourselves with his vigor and kind of get a perspective on where we are. When he went to King Ashoka Temple to bow, he bowed 1,000 bows a day, burned his finger off, etc. So yeah, that's an 8-stage bodhisattva. He gave up everything. He died twice on his pilgrimage and was revived by Manjushri Bodhisattva in disguise. So yes, indeed. So 就说我们到这个第8地啊，这个不退转那个地步现前了，那个变化是很容易就不想前进，就不再继续修行。怎么重要性呢？就说诸佛到菩萨的跟前，那个时候到那个修行人的跟前，他们用种种的方便法劝他不要停止，要继续怎么说虔诚思进，要继续向前进，不要停止。众生还在受苦，你的愿力还没有圆满，不要停。劝他，鼓励他，因为这个经典就说很容易，你就好像可有可无，没有意思。就你以前所了解的东西呢，现在就好像不行未来的这个情况呢，你看不到未来，所以就不继续。佛就来了，就劝你继续勇猛精进那你要我们就问自己，我会不会是已经到那个地步呢？就不知道了虚云老和尚听说话说他是8地菩萨，那虚云老和尚跟我们他的精进心跟我们的精进心比较起来比不了。他呢到了阿育王寺，在宁波要礼佛，每天1000拜然后烧了指头了，哎呦，不一样，他是8地菩萨。 OK, here we go. More. 为令一切众生了一切法，开始演说普圆满故， in order to enable living beings to understand and elucidate all Dharma to perfection. Okay. Now, what would that be like? I told everybody last week in explaining this about the 9th practice of the 10 practices. 我上个礼拜跟大家讲过这个十横品的第9横就解释陀罗尼 讲话的功能在个人的心里边还没有开发，还没有修成，然后我就想，我应该给大家品品味道。People will recall maybe last week when I was talking about eloquence and the ability, the mind's innate ability to speak and to hear. And I mentioned in the 10 Practices chapter, the ninth practice. Well, I thought I'd show you. So here we go. This is the chapter, the ninth practice of 10 practices on dharani. Because he is unobstructed and inexhaustible eloquent. He has unobstructed and inexhaustible eloquence. The Buddhas anoint the crown of his head with the dharani of, anointing the crown, and give him a prediction. His eloquence of joy is inexhaustible. This is the unobstructed eloquence of delight in speaking. Because he cultivates and becomes enlightened on his own, he gets the Dharma door of enlightenment not from others. His radiant eloquence is inexhaustible. His wisdom and eloquence are endless. Because he gets the dharani door of similar eloquence, his eloquence is similarity inexhaustible. Dharani door of teaching and transforming all beings and explaining multiple bodies of sutras, principles in the sutras, phrases, the doctrines of each phrase and sentence of the sutras, the essence of the sutra text. His eloquence in instructing and explaining are inexhaustible. He gets that kind of Dharma door of zongchi, uniting and upholding, dharani. Okay, 就说在第九恒，我们现在第七回向，第九恒是在过去 ，OK？ 他呢有无碍辩才，所以佛来给他灌顶，什么灌顶陀罗尼，给他受记别号。结果呢，他就乐说无碍，就无穷尽。然后就说种种的陀罗尼们就说他得到总持这个法门。Ready? Because he obtains the dharani of boundless turnings, his boundless eloquence is inexhaustible. This bodhisattva's great compassion is strong and steadfast. He everywhere gathers in living beings. In the 3,000 great thousand worlds, he manifests a golden body, does the Buddha's work. Adapting to living beings' dispositions and inclinations, with a vast long tongue, he manifests limitless sounds within a single voice, and speaks Dharma according to the situation, bringing joy to all. 就说这尊菩萨的大悲坚固，他就普遍摄受众生。三千大千世界里边现一个金色的身体做佛事，他愿意随顺众生各个不同的性质，用光常舍相，就现在一个声音里边现出不可穷尽的声音，就对机都叫令所有的众生欢喜。Here's Shufa's commentary. Okay, ready? What? This is the important part. 大家注意这个。Suppose numberless living beings with an inexpressible variety of karmic retributions gathered together in a vast assembly, filling up inexpressible worlds. Suppose the bodhisattva were seated in their midst. Suppose each living being there had inexpressible asamkhya's of mouths, and each mouth could simultaneously utter trillions of nayutas of sounds, forming distinct words and distinct questions. The bodhisattva, in a single thought, could discern them all and respond to them and resolve their doubts. As in one assembly, so too would it be the same in inexpressible many assemblies. Okay, as they used to say back in the 60s, dig it. Look at this. Holy mackerel. That's hypothetical, of course, but the subtext for this is that the abilities the Bodhisattvas display are latent in all of our conscious and in our mental makeup. Our Buddha nature contains this ability, but we have to boot it up, so to speak. We have to cultivate it, and then we can. So what does it say? Numberless living beings, all kinds of different karmic retributions, gather together, filling up the worlds. Bodhisattvas sitting in the middle of them. Every being there has inexpressible countless numbers of mouths. Each mouth simultaneously utters trillions and trillions of voices, and each one of those voices says distinct words and questions to the Bodhisattva who's sitting in the middle. He or she, in a single thought, catches everything they're saying, responds to each one, and resolves their doubts. As in one assembly, so too would it be the same in many assemblies. What is that? That's called dharani. It's an ability that is like samadhi, it's like eloquence, it's like expedient wisdom. It's inherent and latent, waiting for us to walk the Bodhisattva path and make vows to take living beings across. Then we get help like this. 就是说怎么说比喻 hypothetical 就是华严经第9行，假设无数那么多众生都有不同的业报，就集会在一个很广大的一个法会，那就有一位菩萨9行菩萨，有陀罗尼的功能的菩萨坐在他们的中间，所有每一个众生有不可说而生其口，每一个口都能同时说出百千亿哪有他那么多的声音，每个声音有不同的文字，不同的疑答，不同的问题了。菩萨在一念当中都能辨别清楚，都能答复他们各个的问题，解决他们的怀疑了。就像一个法会里边，也可以在不可说那么多法会一样的。OK， 那这是什么呢？陀罗尼的功能。陀罗尼是像这个三昧啊，就像这个辩才啊，就像大慈悲，是一种内在潜能的一个功能。等我们什么时候把它修成了，这就实现了。这是我们为语言的一个功能。不可思议吗？就是为什么不知道呢？那都有谁已经修到第9行这个地位呢？This is all in the future. So this is, what is it? It's language. It's the ability of the mind when it's cultivated with compassion and the methods of the Dharma. This is Buddha Dharma. And I mean, it's just, this is, to me, talk about language. We go, yeah, I studied French in high school, and I spent a summer in Rome, and I learned a little bit of Italian. I can read a menu in a French restaurant, but I keep forgetting, because I don't have anybody to practice with. Yeah, I know. That's the way it is. That's the way it is with our minds. But look at what is possible when we... the difference is what? The difference is vows. The difference is how we set up our life, what we want to do. And as soon as the wish is to speak Dharma for living beings, this pops up. It's there. Here's the Avatamsaka Sutra talking about our inherent potential for language and speech. This is the one that gets me, though. In a single thought, the Bodhisattva can hear all the different doubts, respond to them, and resolve all the different questions. Whew. It goes on. There's more to it, but that's the gist. And the ninth stage, the ninth ground, has a similar situation. In the ninth stage, the Bodhisattva is a Da Fa Shi. He becomes a grand Dharma teacher, a big Dharma master. 这是语文的功能。我们多数呢是怎么样呢？就说对了，我也参加过外国语那个课程，在3年级啊、6年级啊，我觉得那个老师不是很好，他的口音呢不是很清楚，结果我没有学会。呀，多数是这样子。我们如果用佛法然后像菩萨这样子发愿，需要这个辩才，需要这个讲话这个功能，陀罗尼这个能力啊，那个时候这种内在已经具备的功能都会出现了，真的是。这个是第9横，这个第9地菩萨也差不多了。第9地里边，菩萨变成什么呢？大法师大法师他能讲佛法的能力，哎呀，真的是妙不可说，妙不可说，不可说。那如果不可说呢？何必说呢？哎呀，因为不可说还要听，所以恐怕要说可说的。All right. Here we go. Let's continue here. We'll go down to the highlighted sentence. Here we go. We need this one right here. 为令一切众生以实修习清净善法，普圆满故。In order to enable living beings to cultivate at the opportune time each and every pure, wholesome Dharma to perfection. 为令一切众生成就导师无上法宝等清净故 in order to enable living beings to purify each and every guiding master's unsurpassed Dharma treasury to perfection. And finally, 为令一切众生于一庄严、无量庄严、大庄严、诸佛庄严、普圆满故 in order to enable living beings to perfect one kind of adornment, infinite adornments, great adornments, and the adornments of all Buddhas. Okay, Master Chengguan says these 110 vows that are so similar divide into 2 parts. One is 72, which is the cultivation, individual cultivation comes to fullness. The final 38 have to do with integrating that cultivation back into the search for Buddhahood. So kind of one and many. So we're starting with this vow here. From now on, we're going to be integrating them back. They got a different scope. 清凉国师就说这110那么多愿呢，同样的为令一切众生，这些愿呢都分2部分。第一部分呢有72个，都是修行修圆满。然后这个上下38就是把这个各个横门就容纳在菩萨的道业一直向佛国所以我们下个礼拜就在这里开始。So we'll pick up right here next week. Here it is. Save that. Let's see here. Yes. Okay. Now, my goodness, we are looking at Master Shenzang's journey. And you'll remember, by the way, I was talking with a friend the other day who is a he's responsible for distributing Buddhist films. Some of you know him, and he's a friend of the monastery. And he was saying the film that everybody is waiting for is the film on Master Xuanzang for English speakers. There have been films about Xuanzang Fashi made in China. Some are good, some are not so good. Some are better than others. It's hard to cast a living actor who kind of has the gravitas of our teacher. But the reason that this expert gave this opinion is he says this Master Xuanzang is Mahayana Buddhism's great hero, actual living person. And he's so important that an entire novel was built around a fictional character about him. So Tripitaka, Sanzang Fashi in the novel 西游记 is not Xuanzang Fashi 真正唐朝那个和尚，不一样的。So he said, we really need somebody who knows the story to take on the job of telling the story of Master Xuanzang, because it is a unparalleled story of incredible heroism and accomplishment and miracles. So by every week going consecutively through Master Xuanzang's biography, I'm doing a little bit of that. But when you know that he went to India to bring the sutras back, and then you look at our teacher, Master Hsuan-Hua, he came to the West to open the sutras up and to put them into English and other languages. Not quite as death-defying as Master Xuanzang, but also extremely difficult and requiring incredible vows and stick to it. 这个我有个朋友，他对于佛教的电影很有研究，差不多的每一个佛教里边的电影他都清楚了看过。他说他所等待的还没有看到的电影，就是汉传佛教的电影，是玄奘法师的电影，他的传有是有，我知道有3个都就做过讲玄奘大师去印度取经那个故事。不过呢，就是在西方人解释流通这个故事不多了，没有了从西方人的立场来做那个电影还没有做那个他呢这个专家他说玄奘法师是我们汉传佛教最伟大的一个英雄豪杰。如果我们讲这个故事，大家都会注意，到现在还没有人讲过。有一个原因，为什么呢？他的名字不好讲，不好说。玄奘，这个玄，英文没有那个韵老，玄庄没有那个那个 consonant sound， 所以这是很难如果我们说 Tripitaka 就是西游记那个小说，用那个名字大家可以了，不过那不是真实的人，我们讲的是真实的人。所以各位知道为什么我每个礼拜都要把这些故事呢多多研究，多多流通，是因为我真的万分钦佩这个玄奘大师。Okay, good story. Right here, the 可汗舍护可汗要求玄奘法师不要继续上印度，然后他就说印度种种坏话， 说你在这边留下来比较好，那边太热，那边的人呢不懂事，这里好。玄奘法师就说：“哎，今之彼又追寻圣迹，慕求法耳。我必须要去，我已经发愿，对不起，谢谢。可汗乃令军中方解韩语，记住国音者，遂得年少。”曾到长安数年，通解韩语，即封为摩堕达官，作诸国书，令摩堕松法师到家避世国。The Khan gave his orders to find somebody in the army who could speak Chinese and other foreign languages. A young man who had spent several years in Chang'an and could speak Chinese was found and made into an interpreter. He was ordered to write letters of introduction to the various countries and escort the master to the country of Kapisa, which is modern Kafiristan. One moment, please. Kafiristan. I should have looked at this before. Kafiristan. Did that pop up? Do we have a Kafiristan? Yes. Kafiristan. Peshawar. Peshawar is, let's see here, Kafiristan. So it's this red. This is it. This is Kafiristan. That's Pakistan, Peshawar. Or is it Afghanistan? It doesn't tell us on this map. So the Shifu Khan, so here's Islamabad. This is, right. He ordered, we started out in Xinjiang, Tajikistan. Here, this is, okay, so it is Afghanistan. Yeah. We started out here, right here. And so the Shifu Khan ordered the young man to accompany Master Xuanzang all the way down here to Kafiristan, following the gap in the mountains. 所以呢，这个可汗命令他的军人陪着玄奘法师一直到阿富汗，现代的阿富汗就是这里 Kafiristan. Yeah. Close to where Pakistan and Afghanistan border. Okay. 又师飞灵法服一袭，卷50匹，欲群臣诵诗于礼。The Khan also presented the master with religious garments made of red silk and 50 rolls of fine silk. He and his ministers escorted him to a distance of more than 10 li on his way. 那这个丝绸绢出家人不能打，不能穿，红色的red silk. So it's thank you very much. We don't wear red. We don't wear silk. Never mind. That's okay. Your intent is good. 就说红色的那个是藏传喇嘛，我们汉传佛教不带红色。那个主义是可以的那个然后丝绸做的衣服不带，因为都有沙叶在里边了没有关系了，你供养我们接受你的善意。然后他就跟着大师就十里之远。So Shifu Khan completely put his palms together. He was deeply moved by Master Xuanzang. The journey continues. 自此西行400余里，至平域，此曰千泉，地方数百里，其多池沼，又风其木，深沉凉润， 其可罕避数之处也。Going westward for 400 li, the master reached Bingyul, which means 1,000 springs. The place was several hundred li in circumference, many lakes and woods of unusual trees, which made the place cool and pleasant. This was where the Khan lived during the summer season. So, man, if you have ever visited out in Xinjiang, across the mountains, across the, here comes the rain, you know how dry. This is really rugged, dry, arid land. And to find a place with trees and water is life itself. So this is, luckily he had the instructions of the Khan who knew where to send him. Because if you miss the oasis and you keep going into the sand, you die. This is not a joke. It's like the outback in Australia. It will kill you. It does not support human life. So luckily he had all the support he needed to cover this piece of the journey. 这个地盘非常干燥不好过的一种地，因为这个可汗是知道这个路，然后支持玄奘大师这样走，所以呢，他就安全地达到这个千泉这个地方。这个如果你就走错路了，就继续向前进了，很容易就死在那个，把你的骨头留在那个沙漠上。因为这个地方就像 Australia 中间那个所谓 outback 那个地方不支持人生，你没有准备的话，它会把你给吃了，你的白骨就留在沙漠上。自平域西北50里，至达罗斯城，右西南200里。至白水城，右西南200里，至公寓城，右南50里，至努赤建国，右西200里，至折石国，果西林叶舍河。Westward again from Bingyul for 150 li, he reached the city of Talas. Southwest for 200 li to the Whitewater City, a further 200 li to the city of Kuyu. From Kuyu south for 50 li, he reached the country of Nejkend, from which he traveled west for 200 li to the country of Chaj, which bordered on the Yaksartes in the west. Okay, Tashkent. We'll find Tashkent. Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Oh my, there it is. Here we are, Tashkent. So, Master Xuanzang, you can see he traveled through the green. The green is mountains. The brown is mountains. So this is the pass that lets you go through. Okay. Tajikistan. Yeah. It's just when you look at it, it's almost as rugged now as it was then. Of course, there's modern people with airplanes and highways and modern economies and all. But in between, it's still a place you just pass through. You don't stay there. 就是我们 看看这个地图了。你看这个 Tashkent， 这是摩登的一个现代的一个城市啊。我们它是现代的，有飞机、有汽车、有经济什么的。不过呢，那个时候就在那个沙漠，你不小心呢，你就会死了。很多人是这样子过了。所以玄奘大师他就跟着他的愿力就继续走那么他发愿，所以有佛菩萨的保护。So we know that Master Empty Cloud, because he had the Bodhisattva's protection, so he was able to survive in these extremely challenging environments. Without the help of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and without the support of the humans whom he crossed over, his story would not be remembered. We wouldn't remember him. He would be yet another of the hundreds of monks who set out on the journey but did not succeed. 因为他发过愿，所以佛菩萨护法神圣保护了，还有人间的国王等等来保护他。如果没有这个情形的话，恐怕我们都不知道，不记得他呢。有几百个法师从中国出发，没有回来有的到了印度，有的还没到，有的到了就没回来他呢就成功了，所以我们都知道他的故事。Okay, to be continued. Oh my goodness, we will be back with the conclusion of the the vows of the seventh stage Bodhisattva, seventh transference Bodhisattva, and we will be here with more inspiring, incredible stories from Master Xuanzang. 我们下个礼拜就继续把这个剩下38个第七回向菩萨的愿力，然后呢，我们又会继续讲玄奘大师去印度取经的故事。Okay, let's see here. We need to look at the dedication. I hope everybody's learned the dedication by now, right? 你们都会唱这个英文的回向吗？来，会不会唱不要紧，一定要回向。May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may our minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Our we ready to bow? Let me set my banjo back. Okay, bow 3 times. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. See you all next week. Ami Tofo. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, 师父老师。
Ami Tofo. Welcome.